Okay, friends, let us begin. Please take your seat. It could be on the... Thank you, Cantor Ricky, for the shout out to my hair. I was going to say, even though we don't do that here, but I just will say you can compliment my hair all you want because I was in the salon on Thursday for like 2.5 hours and she made love to every single curl. So to all the women out there with the curly who get that it's actually really hard to craft this mess that is hair, I accept the love because it wasn't an easy project. Okay. That's part of Hidur Mitzvah. That's part of beautifying the sacred act of tefillah for me to have my hair ready. Okay, friends. So taking a comfortable seat. It can be in the chair or it can be up on a blanket or a block. Just have your hips, if you're seated on the floor, higher than your knees, okay? And we begin just by snuggling the sitting bones to the earth, rooting down, and just seeing if we can find center of center. So between the right and the left and the front and the back, finding center, allowing the spine to rise tall. And right away, anchoring the attention into the breath. Feeling the breath coming in and going out. In this practice, we anchor the attention in the breath and in sensation throughout the body. Just like in meditation, when the mind goes off and running on a storyline, we bring it back. Tshuva, right? The essence of tshuva, we return to breath and sensation. We do the same on the mat. It's a meditation in motion. So let's begin to link breath and movement by moving into some cat and cow. As we inhale, moving to the front of the sitting bones and vertebra by vertebra, lifting up the spine, drawing the elbows back, maybe taking the gaze up, lifting the heart. And as we exhale, curl from the base of the spine, going up the spine, vertebra by vertebra, curling, letting the head come forward. And doing this in your own breathing time. You don't have to follow with me. Inhaling, arching, and exhaling, curling. As you inhale, perhaps you draw the elbows back and slide the hands up your thighs. And as you exhale, perhaps taking the hands to the knees and letting the mid ribs, the mid back come back. Going back and forth a couple of times, initiating each movement at the base of the spine. So as you inhale, it starts at the base of the spine, and vertebra by vertebra, we lift up. And as we exhale, same thing from the base of the spine, moving up, making some space and nourishment for those discs. And then coming back to neutral and keeping the spine neutral, we're going to begin to make circles. So imagine that the crown of your head is drawing circles on the ceiling. You can start in either direction. You can make the circles as small or wide as you like. And what I'd like you to do is tune into the sensation that you feel at the core as it has to engage to let the torso rotate. Right? So very still in the torso, but there's this corseting of the midsection, of the ribs, of the abdominal muscles to protect the spine, right? So maybe we start to build some heat. And then you can pause and change direction. Go slowly. Of course, the slower you go, the more the abs engage. becomes a little harder when we move slower, doesn't it? That's true in general. See that neck and jaw remain easy. Sometimes instead of using the core muscles, we use the neck muscles, the shoulders, the jaw. And then pause. We're going to go the other direction. It's the same thing, except this time we do what I call stirring the navel, which means we're going in circles, but there's a gyrational aspect to it. So it's as though the torso is just moving around a barrel, or we're just making this round, this circular motion with the whole torso. And I call it stirring the navel because it's as if the navel creates this movement. It's like the navel's like a spoon stirring in a pot. So you could think of it that way, or you could think of it being led by the ribs. Kind of takes us back to Michael Jackson and those Thriller days, doesn't it? For those of us who remember the 80s well. And then pause and take that circling in the opposite direction. Right, so it's kind of active. So there's strength required, but also resilience, also a flexibility required within the abdomen, within the paraspinal muscles. And then pause. Resist the urge to fidget, even though I just did. And you could even close your eyes and just notice any echo of sensation from what we just did. So today is the 27th of Elul, and we're in the 4th week of our Shofar project, the final week. The first week was called Opening the Heart, and the second week, Bearing Witness to the Pain of the World. The third week, and we're kind of building, right? The third week, dropping into rachamim, compassion. And now the 4th week, making ourselves into an instrument of justice. I want to start with a quotation from the late Congressman John Lewis. You may have heard this before. When you see something that is not right, not fair, not just, you have to speak up. You have to say something. You have to do something. Ultimately, that is what our practice is for. Our practice is not to be left on the mat. Our practice is to be spent in the world. So our essay this week comes from Kohenet Keshira Halev Fife, and it's beautiful. We'll drop it in the chat in its entirety. I just want to share a small seed of it and also some of my own words. So she brings us a quotation from Viktor Frankl, who wrote the book Man's Search for Meaning. He was a Holocaust survivor and a psychoanalyst. You may know that book well. If you don't, so highly recommend. In that book, Viktor Frankl tells us, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and freedom. So as we wake up to the world around us and become aware of how much is happening, how much injustice there is, how much impact it's having on us, there can be a tendency to shut down, to numb out. It can feel overwhelming or disempowering. But Frankl is telling us, no, we have a choice. We can take a moment. There's a space. And our mindfulness practice, of which our yoga, our embodied practice, is a part here, right? In our practice of mindfulness, we can check in and ask what is right, and we can take action from that space. So our practice of yoga, all of our spiritual practice, is to help us build the muscle of being with discomfort. Instead of turning away from injustice, can we meet it with compassion and then choose right action? Kashira tells us when we open our hearts, when we attune to the heart of the matter and our very own heart itself, and when we open our hearts and we come face to face with the pain of the world and engage compassionately, we are poised to take action to merit the good. We become true Klei Kodesh, right? True instruments and vessels of holiness. And we respond to the line in Unatana Tokef that says tshuva, returning, and tefillah, intense prayer and introspection, and staka, really tzedek, justice work, righteousness, ma'avirin et roa hagazera, will lessen the severe decree. A couple of thoughts to just also frame our physical practice here. Becoming klei tzedek, if you will, instruments of justice, it requires strength. It requires a core that's strong, but not hard, not stiff. It needs to be flexible. It needs to be receptive. It needs to be pliable. We need to be that from the inside out. Endurance, resilience, sensitivity, and attunement in our vessel. That's the capacity that we cultivate here. So that's the focus of our work today. Please come to a low lunge, right foot forward. You can put the blanket under the left foot if you would like. Under the left knee, I mean. Right foot forward, left knee back, and just a little bit of rocking the hips, a little bit front and back. If you'd like 2 blocks, you can. I didn't travel with mine, so I don't have them today, but that gives you a little bit of propping up and opening for the torso. Feel free. At any rate, you want to lengthen from tailbone to crown, as always. And then from here, let's take a twist and inhale the right arm up, taking a twist to the right, drawing that right knee toward the center line, hug it in. The gaze can be up if you like, depending on your own neck. Take good care. And then inhale, take the arm back behind you and make circles coming forward. You can tuck the back toe and lift the knee if you like for a little more degree of difficulty. Making circles. Inhale as you come up and around, and exhale as you come down and forward. And then from here, everyone tuck those left toes, lift the back knee. We're going to come up to standing in the following manner. Take the arms out to the sides, airplane, draw the navel in, press so hard into that front foot, and support to come up to a high lunge. You can adjust when you get here, and if balance is an issue that you're working on, maybe you want to be at a wall or a chair. Right, so here we are, high lunge. You can decide how much bend or straightening on that back leg. Just find this place with the hands to the hips. So practice dropping your tailbone, drawing your navel in, almost like a curl here in the lower back, and you notice that that really engages the quads and the hip flexors. It almost takes my breath away. Kind of start there, and then from there you can extend. A lot of integrity here for this pelvis. Woo! So if you want, take the arms up. It could be cactus, it could be all the way up, whatever you decide. And then from high lunge, open it out, warrior 2. Find your warrior 2, find your stance. You can come in and out a little bit if you like, or you can just hold, build some heat here. Okay, radiate from the solar plexus out, right? So the core strength of this pose, let it be here. And then turn the right palm up. Inhale, again, from the center. Lift yourself up, radiate up, reverse warrior or dancing warrior. Exhale, hand to thigh or hand to a block. And we're going to take side angle. Couple of breaths here. Find your edge. Find the place where it gives you something, but to go any further would be too much. And pause here, be with that. And then cartwheel the hands to the floor. You can step back, you can hold plank, knees up or knees down. Knit the ribs, draw the belly in. You can stay here as long as you like, make it challenging for yourself, whatever you like. And then we're going to take knees to the floor and sit it back, child pose. If you're in the chair, it's just forearms to the thighs and leaning forward. And if the buttocks don't want to go to the heels, you can take puppy, right? Buttocks up, forehead down. Just find some version of comfortable rest for yourself. Take a pause and take some breath. Center the mind. Notice where your thoughts are. Bring them back to breath and sensation. From the navel, begin to draw the navel to the spine and let that rise you up to all fours, and step the left foot forward between the hands. You can bring the right knee back in space. See that the left ankle is directly below the left knee. We're just going to take the whole sequence for investigation on the other side. So letting the hips rock a little forward and back, side to side, however you like. Starting to wake up the hips. Good, and then plant that right hand. It's either on the floor or on a block. You could plant the palm or the fist. We're going to inhale the left arm up toward the ceiling. Take a twist. Take the gaze with you to the extent possible, whatever's comfortable. Long spine, so keep neck and head in line. Draw that, magnetize that left knee towards the center line. Good, and then we begin to take the arm back behind us and around front, so taking circles. Inhale as you come up and around. Exhale as you come down. Let the gaze follow the fingertips. And then come down, tuck the back toes if they're not already tucked. Lift the back knee. Just find that long lunge. Long body from the back heel to the crown. And then one more time here. Arms out to airplane. Balance, draw the navel in, press into the feet to come up to a high lunge. You can take the hands to the hips or wherever you would like them to be. Rearrange your legs as needed. Oh, that move always wins me a little, gotta say. Okay, and then like working with this pelvis thing here, right? So we don't want to be too out of ourselves, too into an arch. You want to really protect the spine. So it's drawing the navel to the spine and a little bit of a curl to that lower back. You see that? A little bit of a curl. Just feel that movement of the pelvis, a little bit cat-cow. And then you can send the heel back again. So finding your high lunge and then open it out. Exhale, warrior two. And again, you can come in and out a little bit. Find the pose. Steady yourself. The idea of this radiance from the solar plexus, right, It is the sun, after all, the plexus of the sun. It's an image. As much as it's physical, it's also a visual. Turn the left palm to face up. Inhale, lift up. Dancing warrior. Exhale. Arm to thigh or block. Side angle. Lengthening. When you're ready, inhale, come on up. Step or hop the feet together. Just take a little shake out anywhere you need it. You can circle the ankles, you can roll the shoulders. Just shake it out. You were shaking off socks and gloves. And then pause in an easy mountain pose. Take the hands right to the solar plexus. Be here and breathe. Strong, but pliable, resilient. We've needed a lot of resilience this year and will continue to. Feel any and all sensations coursing through your body. When you're ready, you can release the hands, open the eyes if they're closed. Let's come to sit down. Bring your blanket with you. Sit up on a little something, something. Take the legs wide. Take the legs wide. Again, nestle those sitting bones to the ground. You could take this seated on a chair as well. If this is too much angle for you, you're going to sit at the edge of your chair. Let your legs be wide to the side. Take the hands behind you. I'm grabbing the blanket behind me and drawing the elbows toward each other as I lift the heart and ground the sitting bones. And ground the thigh bones down. If you'd like, we'll begin to fold forward. So inhale tall, and then as you exhale, begin to walk the hands forward. Lengthen the crown of the head, lengthen the spine. Inhaling and lengthening, exhaling and deepening the fold. Take your time. Find your edge, but no aggression. Huge, the first philosophical principle in yoga is nonviolence, ahimsa. And it begins, ahimsa is the Sanskrit word. It's the foundation of all. It begins with the self. So no violence toward the self. We can notice subtle ways in which we incur aggression toward ourselves. And we can really choose to refrain. And then as you're ready, begin to come back. Okay, so back to this idea of the pliability and the strength. We're going to take a fold a fold over each leg. So really let that twisting action come from the pliability of the abdomen. Turn to face your right leg. Right, so, and if you'd like, you could grab your strap, right? You could be here. So you're going to turn, you're going to lift and lengthen, and then you're going to exhale and fold. So maybe you're pulling on the strap, maybe you're holding your foot, right? Maybe you take the right hand out to the side, the left hand to the right foot. It's a forward fold. So really feel what that action is in the abdomen as everything kind of moves over and the navel moves in the direction of the thigh. Right, so it really is a double action. It's a twist and a fold and a forward fold. As you're ready, come on up. We go to the other side. So turn to face the left leg. Adjust yourself as needed. Again, you can take the strap. And the strap would be against the ball of the foot, so you can press the ball of the foot out to the strap as you pull on the strap. Right? Or maybe you wish not to use the strap. You can kind of use your outside fingers to press. So inhale, lengthen the spine. Feel that twist. It's so good for your digestion, for all the abdominal organs. And as you exhale, you fold. Inhale to come up as you're ready. Coming to lie on the back, bring your strap with you. For extra credit, let's roll it down and engage the core as we go. So sitting up tall, draw the navel to the spine, begin to curl down vertebra by vertebra. The slower you go, the more ab engagement you're going to get. So the first thing is lengthen out, as my mom says, into a langeloksh, a long noodle, and extend right hand and right leg toward the ceiling, and then left arm and left leg. So we're just kind of wriggling side to side. Little C curve and C curve, little side bends as we go, lengthening the body, like you're picking peaches up there. Or I should say apples. We're getting to apple picking season, really. And then come back, bend the knees, place the soles of the feet on the floor. Place the hands on the low ribs or on the belly. The first thing we're going to do is just draw navel to spine, flatten out that lower back curve, engage the abs a little bit, hold for a few seconds, and then release. Restore that spinal curve, right? And then once again, exhale, navel to spine, lengthen, flatten out the back, like you were squishing a penny under there. Under the low back, and then come back, neutral spine, just so that we find that strength there. Let's take the strap to the right heel and extend that leg towards the ceiling. Some people like to have the arms straight in this, some people like to have the elbows bent. Whatever you do, the shoulders are easy, the elbows are easy. The left knee can stay bent, or if you'd like, you can lengthen the left leg on the floor. Let's flex through both feet. Wah! That was the sound to accompany the sensation as I drew my right toes toward my forehead. the sensation in the calf. So as we flex, we build sensation for the calf, muscle stretch. Good. And then release the strap. Bend the left knee if you had the leg straight. Bend the right knee, cross it, figure 4. Just get a good stretch out of the glute and the outer hip that we worked pretty hard today in those standing poses. Draw the whole thing in. You can clasp hands behind the left thigh or take the strap around. And then release. We'll switch sides on that whole situation. So right foot to the floor, right knee bent, left leg into the strap. The strap is against the heel of the foot, unless you like it elsewhere, but I tend to like the heel most of all. Up to you. Draw that leg toward straightening, that left leg. And then if you like, you can also lengthen the right leg, either bent or straight, either way. But keep the pelvis even. Don't let that left hip hike up. And now focus on flexing through both feet. And then bend the right knee, place the sole of the foot to the floor, remove the strap from the left foot, bend that knee, figure 4, ankle just above the right knee, draw the whole thing in. If it serves you, you can send the arms through, clasp behind the right thigh or the strap. If the hands don't reach, you want to make sure the neck is easy, right? So if it strains your neck and your throat, then use the strap. Or just leave the right sole of the foot on the floor. That would give you less. On the other side, if you want more, draw that right knee in closer toward you. And at the same time, use the forearm or elbow to press that left thigh away from you and give resistance as you draw in. And you'll feel it pretty quickly. Wah. As one of my colleagues says, Yofi tofi mucho beseder. And now release that. Hug the knees in to the chest. So again, Viktor Frankl, between stimulus and response, there's a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Right? So in yoga, there's always that moment we can choose what next, how much pressure, how much deeper into this pose, or do I just need to skip this pose? When we choose our response, we empower ourselves greatly. And this bleeds off the mat in a very positive way. We become over time less reactive, less likely to fly off the handle. more likely to pause and choose the right action. Amen to that. Ken yehi ratzon. Okay, and let's just land in stillness. However that will be for you, you can take constructive rest, as I'm doing here. You might want the blanket under your head. You might want to roll the blanket under your knees. You might want a traditional shavasana with legs long, arms long. You decide. You might want fetal position. Couple moments of stillness just to integrate all these feels into the nervous system. Let the nervous system absorb your practice today. As you're ready, begin to deepen the breath. Wiggle the fingers and the toes. So you begin to come back to the surface. Take all the time you need to make your way up to a comfortable seated position. As we close our practice, we send out the benefits of our work to any and all who are suffering. Anyone in your own personal circle, or even your very own self who needs refu'ah, who needs healing. Offer it forth. Anyone in your communities. All those suffering anywhere on this planet. And as we've been doing each week, we send our most sincere prayers for the return of the hostages. And I'd like to share a video of Achenu. Rachel will share the video. Created by an incredible youth music school that was started by two people, one of whom was murdered on October 7th and one of whom is one of the Chatufim, one of the hostages.